Your tax dollars are keeping drug addicts medicated.
But that medication has been called a miracle drug by some and a menace by others. 9 News anchor Brendan Keefe has tonight's I-Team investigation. Brendan?
Heroin. As many as 1 million Americans are addicted.
That was my whole life, was to get that next hit.
Heroin was like a leash. Now Elaine says she's free.
My life is like gradually getting better and better, and I'm going to be able to do all the things that I couldn't do before.
The answer to her drug problem? Another drug, Suboxone. A $13 strip or pill under the tongue once a day eliminates withdrawal.
With Suboxone, I don't get high at all.
They can drive a car?
Absolutely.
They can go to work?
Absolutely.
Dr. Todd Karen of Milford's Northland Treatment Center says Suboxone, with its main ingredient buprenorphine, has replaced methadone as the standard of care for opiate addiction.
You could take 200 bottles of buprenorphine, you're not going to get high.
When the addict stops using heroin or OxyContin, painful withdrawal symptoms set in, lasting between 1 and 3 weeks. But when the addict takes Suboxone sublingually, it enters the bloodstream, then goes right for the brain. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the Suboxone affects these little guys. These are the opioid receptors in the brain. The Suboxone gives them just enough stimulation to stop the cravings without making the addict high. And it works as a blockade, stopping other drugs of abuse, like heroin and OxyContin, from working for up to 3 days.
It has no effect whatsoever. None. They don't get high, they don't get side effects. It's like they never did it.
Ohio Medicaid spent $21.4 million on buprenorphine last year, keeping more than 9,000 Ohio addicts medicated with your tax money.
I wouldn't need to steal if I always had my drug of choice in my pocket and given to me, and insurance paid for it.
Chris is also an addict, recovering from heroin and Suboxone.
I would sell 85% of my prescription every month.
According to a doctor on the Ohio Medicaid Drug Board, buprenorphine is one of the fastest growing street drugs. The DEA has labeled it a heroin substitute and a primary drug of abuse. People who haven't abused other opiates can use it to get high.
And they're on the streets looking, buying, stealing for Suboxone.
And when they can't get heroin, addicts use Suboxone as a bridge.
They don't want to go through withdrawal. They're going to take it until their supply of drug becomes available again.
There are online chat rooms dedicated to quitting Suboxone. On it for 7 years. When am I ever going to get off this? A breastfeeding mom writes, I never thought in 1,000,000 years I'd be on it this long.
Suboxone is a long, drawn-out withdrawal process.
For Chris, the cure from Suboxone withdrawal was heroin.
The step 2 really fill that void.
Now he's drug-free in a 12-step program.
It's like a monster in a cage, and if I put any substance in my body, that door on that cage is unlocked and that monster is out.
And there is now generic buprenorphine. This is the molecule, and a company in Columbus is now producing the generic drug. But most prescriptions are for Suboxone. That's the brand name for the combination of buprenorphine and Narcan. Suboxone's manufacturer, Reckitt Benckiser Pharmaceuticals, says, quote, there is no one-size-fits-all approach to treating this disease. A full statement and more on our investigation can be found on WCPO.com. Guys?
Wow, Brendan, that was good reporting, because we all learned something on that one, I do believe.
Amen, yes.